Well, good morning, Malik Abbas
Good
Dabo.
morning.
Good morning.
And how are we doing this morning?
Good. We are great, blessed.
Yeah.
Bless God.
I am blessed. I don't know about this one.
I
He's
mean,
also-
clearly, the blessings from God there is there. It is the other one that is people are complaining about.
Are you talking about the exchange rate of monies from your pocket?
You see
Yes,
that thing?
yes.
Yeah, the Spirit has spoken to you.
I know.
Oh.
You see, I'm having a problem in my Forex bureau. The one that converts money from my mind to my mobile money account.
That is where the
Yeah.
difficulty is.
that's a mental money and physical money exchange rates, no, Charlie.
Yeah, it's becoming
It's
problematic.
becoming some
it is
way.
reflecting the exchange rate on the market.
But in any case, God is good.
God is good. God is good.
Let's take the front pages, Ray.
Let's start with today and this reporting this morning. I don't support any candidate. Jerry John Rawlings is the one saying so. And Oti Region is coming. Paramount Chief educates people, even though there's some case filed. And this is Nana Soglo, law Paramount Chief of Lekpe, traditional area. 5,645 workers to lose jobs in Tema. That's the projection from today. And Bawumia is a failure. This is according to Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo. And those are the stories that today is reporting this morning.
The Gold Street Business Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining cautions DCEs on illegal small-scale mining, provides 4 main compliance measures. Also on the front page of the Gold Street Business, Sector Securities and Exchanges Commission sets governance code for listed companies, seeks to enforce regulations on disclosure and transparency. There's also Akufo-Addo drives ICT transformation in Ghana with Huawei.
Now, the Herald is reporting this morning at forcing tackles VIP in $2 billion bauxite deal and dirty scam cited in US 500 million ECG concession. 6,000 ECG workers face uncertain future. That's what the Herald is reporting this morning. There's another one about MPs being angry at the Special Initiative Minister. And talk about that particular ministry. Where are the ambulances?
Yeah, the
Yes.
275 they were supposed to procure.
Yes. Where are they? Because the expectation was that this year, it's been
They'll
catered
come.
for in the budget and everything. But we are in September.
We appear to be jinxed when it comes to ambulances.
Yes, we can do everything apart from ambulance.
Yeah.
Anyway,
We can do ambulances too. Two crisis strengthens us.
The
Let's
Daily
go ahead.
Statesman newspaper, premix fuel dealers urge to stop diversion of products. Double track SHS takes off successfully. Ghana mourns Kofi Annan. Those are the stories here.
the New Crusading guy says 50% Hajj pilgrims back home safely, and the last batch is expected by the 19th of September. And GMPC saga, New Crusading guy says Kenoforiata is ill-advised. There's also risky $2 billion bauxite deal. Government has no contingency plan. This is according to Imani.
The Daily Guide newspaper, don't use my name, Rawlings. Raymond reviewed this. This is Rawlings warning NDC. And NDC to sanction Anyi Doho, that's Deputy General Secretary, vying for the General Secretaryship of the NDC. Those are-
No, the way he said that, Raymond reviewed this earlier. I thought it was
Hey, wait,
Raymond said-
Raymond said, don't use my name. I was confused.
Yes, I have a similar warning to give.
There's nothing in your name for anybody to use as far as this matter is concerned.
Anyway, the Daily Graphic is reporting this morning, BOG injects more dollars into economy, and that's the biggest story on the front page. And there's a special supplement in the Daily Graphic on Kofi Annan. Want to grab it?
The Chronicle newspaper, where is Annan's body? Disappointed mourners ask as casket remains closed. Is Highway Authority aware of the problem at Gomwa Budumburam? They are asking the question. Those are the main stories on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper.
Now, government is to demolish some 434 structures. This is like 1,118 residents which are going to be affected. Amnesty International is already raising questions at Aboblushi about this particular issue, and details you'll be getting later on. But let's get the other point too. Thousands pay last respect to Kofi Annan. It's also on the front page here. And Crow MP schools 1,304 students as their second annual free pre-SHS classes. No, they are not there yet. This is pre-SHS classes, free preparation.
So
for
the
lesson.
pre-SHS classes are free.
Yeah.
So the best way to put it is free pre-free SHS class.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's
you
go.
know it. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go.
You're sharp. You're very sharp.
Yeah.
Ghanaian Observer newspaper also has a double track story taking off. Rawlings bearing teeth over NDC elections that have not endorsed Mahama et al. Kofi Annan goes home is here. Massive works begin on Medina roads, and yesterday and today we are continuing with the discussion on the footbridges. On
Definitely,
the Medina road,
definitely.
and the attendant's death caused by their lack in that area. Those are the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer. You have
The Finder. It says here, better version of double track system at Wesley Girls University practice SHS, and GBC should be restructured. And Pem Dakon is the one speaking. What the other one's AGI
General.
Yeah, the one who went to Parliament and went to say that he doesn't need something to be parliamentary.
Oh, yeah. It's a very bold man.
You want to say it.
He's a,
You just wanted to say that. You
oh,
go ahead.
AGI kicks against 5% flat rate tax. That's also on the front page of the Finder.
The Ghanaian Times newspaper also has a banner headline on Kofi Annan, the World Morning Kofi Annan. Flood, Bagri Dam spillage destroys 7,000 hectares of crops, and special pullout on Kofi Annan is here as well.
So, guys, let's begin with free SHS, shall we, Raymond?
Yes, and the Finder is reporting, just like other newspapers are reporting, that contrary to the massive expression of fears by some parents that they are unclear about how the system is going to run and other things, the report, in fact, we gave you some reporting from Newsnight last night, that increasingly they are beginning to appreciate what the process are and what they ought to do to get their kids in school. So it takes you from Achimota School to Accra Girls SHS through to Kimbu Senior High School, Fijai, also Takrady Senior High School, Bompe, and St. John Senior High School. All that is reporting that even the numbers that were supposed to be expected of the double track as first track, more than that number is reporting to the various schools. So, for example, if you go to a school like the Achimota School, they are expecting for the two tracks 1,600 students in this case. If you move on to Takrady Senior High School, they are expecting 897 for the two tracks, not just one of them. If you go to also an important school like the Bompe School, Bompe is expecting 1,022 students in this case. There was concern about whether or not, even for half of that number, they could still provide boarding facilities for them. You heard during our news about the headmistress who was complaining about me. I have boarding facilities, and yet the people were giving day in my schools. Apparently, the school had been turned into a day school without her knowing, and that ought to be rectified along the line. Now, for Fijai Senior Secondary School, the main problem was that there was initial challenge with how they were going to do the registration, but they fixed it along the line. They're expecting 1,206 students for both tracks to start the registration, and the first batch will get to school anytime soon. Now, we also know that other schools like Kimbu Senior High School, and we know Kimbu is a president's school for the record. Yes. 920 students are supposed to go for both tracks. So the presumption in this case is that the schools that have been selected to go through the important process of facing two forms, as in the double track, many of them are receiving very huge numbers that they ought to manage along the line.
Okay.
Now, even for Achimota School, they have some initial challenges with the registration process. So then it was resolved along the line. There's also, I'm told, the directive from the GES that if the people, like we discussed yesterday, cannot provide immediately birth certificates, immediately national health insurance card, don't even hesitate. Don't worry them. We know they are Ghanaians. We know that they'll have to go through this process. They will agree for these mobile units to go to the schools to register them, or they will agree for them to have a nearby institution get close to them and do the registration for them, so they
can go to school.
Yes, it doesn't obstruct the academic calendar and the things that they want to do in the interim. Because this time around, there are a number of days they are going to run
instruction.
2 semesters.
Yeah. Not
3 terms.
Yeah.
So they are going to have longer number of days in school than some number of days on vacation too. What is instructive is that they say that they've extended academic period for studies.
Yeah, that's the
Yes.
number of instructional hours in a day.
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's supposed to also help out students make up for the number of days reduction in this case. So that is the kind of way they don't want to miss any of the days into.
Yes, so that because
needless-
every day is needed.
it's
Every day is
needed in
needed.
this case.
It's great. We will be coming to this story during the show. And so if you're listening to us, you registered your child yesterday or you're going to register your child today, how was it for you? If there are any challenges at all, send them in on 0244 340 437 or at Joy997 FM on Twitter, Joy99.7 FM on Facebook. Remember, the hashtag is JoySMS. We're putting the whole registration process on the platform today. But Malik, a sad story related to this.
Whilst Raymond is talking about parents who have taken their children to school and they must be excited that their children in school, some of them expressed this excitement to us yesterday. The parents of a 16-year-old boy at Brenachinim in the Takwa municipality are in tears. Why? The boy committed suicide. And the boy committed suicide because he was not placed by the computerized school selection system. And he had aggregate 24, but he was not placed. So he left a suicide note. And let me just read a paragraph of the suicide note that he left, which the parents found and which is now in the custody of the police. I will kill myself and leave this earth. I can't stay anymore. I did not get a school because I didn't do well. But somebody had 47. That's aggregate 47. He got school. Why me? This is the note the 16-year-old boy left.
I don't think this story just shatters me. I don't think we are doing enough about the mental health of our children, or of our little brothers and sisters, because it's devastating. This should not happen. It should not get to this point where someone feels he has failed to the extent that he has to end it all. In any case, the fact that you have not been placed is not the end of it. In any case, the fact that you have gotten aggregate 24 is not the end of your life. You are 16 years old. You have your entire life ahead of you. And from the very onset, children should be socialized to know that there is hope no matter what happens to you.
And you can sense the comparison he's drawing, that somebody
with
has
someone who got, so he feels he's being singled out,
which is much worse than he has.
Yeah.
And yet that person has been placed, and he has not been placed. And like you're saying, what counseling went into it? Does he appreciate that it, depending on what schools you choose, you may or may not be placed, and that there are some other factors that may actually come into play.
It's a terrible
whether
story.
you get placed or not, and that the fact that you have not been placed doesn't mean that you will not be placed.
Now, it's in line, Raymond, with what Dr. Kwesi Osei, head of the Mental Health Authority, told us here on Monday morning. Speaking of which,
yes, he says don't put undue pressure on children. He's advising parents and all others in society to stop pressuring children to attain higher academic laurels beyond their abilities. He says that these kind of pressure could make the students or the children suicidal. And when these suicidal tendencies fester and it's not identified and dealt with, the guy can go ahead and carry out the act like what's happened in this particular case. He also says that it is not good enough, and this is not the only problem. Having to pass exams is not the only problem, or having to attain a certain what they call grade to go to a certain school is not the only problem. What course they ought to do, what profession they need to actually pursue. Parents should only guide their kids with alternatives and not compel them against their wish, especially when the parents are not themselves trained enough to identify suicidal tendencies and deal with it when it's supposed to be out there. And he's been making this point because we have a huge chunk, and unlike in the previous times, some decades ago, the people who were suicidal and committed suicide as a consequence of that were those above the ages of 40 and ongoing. But now, the huge chunk is the youthful age group, and that is where the main war is. So 19 to 25. That's where the chunk of the people committing suicide.
you know
in
what
this country
I think the
is.
solution will be? I think the solution is more role models. People need to know that even if you don't do well at this stage of your life, there is a chance for you to do well sometime in your future. I mean, I was personally so inspired when I heard that Komla Dumo, for instance, did not do so well when he first attempted to be a doctor. He came back, he went to the University of Ghana, he became one of the world's most celebrated journalists. So it is something that people need to know, that it is not the end, and this is the example. In Ghana, it is so final. When you fail an exam, it seems so final. It seems like a death sentence.
Perhaps
that must not
we
be the
should
case.
also de-emphasize examination. You see, in countries that are producing quality human resources like Finland, they've called what is called innovative-based learning. So you are determined according to standards that are not based on what you wrote at the end of the 6 years or the 12 years that you've been in school for a period. They have a system, and it's working clearly.
It's supposed to be working in Ghana. It's called cumulative. Cumulative assessment.
Yeah. But
from JSS through to SHS, and even in the university, it's a cumulative weighted average. But you see, again, even for the cumulated exams, it's based on what you do at the end of a 3-month period, how you assessed at the end of a 3-month period.
In the classroom.
You see, you cannot tell me, you cannot justify to me that with the BC, for instance, in 1 week, you can be assessed on what you have learned for 9 years. It doesn't really match.
It only favors the extremely brilliant students, and we have no proper alternatives for the other students. But that's how states fail.
Even extremely brilliant is itself very controversial, because you may
what
be
is your measure?
Something
exactly.
Absolutely, something else. Let's talk about Kofi Annan.
Yeah.
So yesterday, the body was laid in state for the general public to go and pay their last respects to the great man. But it was not without controversy, because many of the people who went there with the expectation that they were going to see the body, and they didn't see the body because the casket was closed. And even on News 9, we had members of the general public complaining that this is against our tradition and that this doesn't happen. Why didn't they open the casket for them to see the body? And I was asking the question yesterday, when we say it is against our traditions and customs dating back to when? I cannot be convinced that this culture of laying the body in state for people to go and view the corpse is not foreign. I can't be convinced. And I said, and which traditions and customs are you talking about? I am a Ghanaian as well. I don't have tradition and custom that says that the body must be laid in state for people to go
come and see.
So when you say, oh, this is against our tradition, which particular tradition are you referring to?
Interesting.
In
maybe
any case, is this our tradition? Are we certain about that?
Maybe Professor Rans for example would want to answer that question. He made the exact same point. He made the exact same points. But anyway, Malik, I want us to slip this in very, very quickly. The BOG is injecting dollars into the economy.
Yes, they've stepped up the injection of the dollars. And of course, first and foremost, having to supply dollars to the banks and other institutions is the normal duty of the Bank of Ghana. But in times like this, when the CD is playing fast and loose with the dollar on this particular note, it's very difficult for it not to do so. According to a source close to the Bank of Ghana, the graphic is saying the central bank has sold 157 million to banks this month alone. So in a single month, how many days are we into the month?
$157 million.
Yes, to the banks, with the hope that this would stem the tide, with the hope that this will reduce the pressure and this will reduce the speculation. So the thinking behind is that more supply.
But it is still the case that traders
demands
are saying they are not getting dollars when they go to the banks. So
yeah, but that's also one difficult part that has always been problematic. Do the dollars really end up on the market?
That's the question.
Some have believed that there are some banks who are also into hoarding, like the way
and Darryl was talking
the accusation is of some financial institutions doing hoarding.
We have to move on, but Darryl was also talking about dollar accounts, also accounting for this during the Joy Business Report. He was talking about how people who keep personal dollar accounts are also really helping.
I hope we don't go back to the time where we asked people to convert their overnight your dollar accounts became CD accounts overnight.
Okay. And I don't think it was.
We agreed it was not about
the
policy.
Forex rules that we introduced, that we had to come back ignominiously and then come and revise.
Yes.
Anyway,
we agreed also about
the conversation is so interesting. We cannot end it now. We'll be touching on the state of the city today ahead of tomorrow's forum as the University of Ghana Economics Department at 6 p.m. Join us there. Now, the online news review is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Coil Good Energy, and download the Safe Doctor app now from the Google Play. Safe Doctor, the future of better medical care. Now, you've got great love for your vehicle. You want the engine to last longer and perform to its maximum. Coil has the new super synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubricants for you. These specially engineered superior engine oils work efficiently on all modern petrol and diesel engines. They clean, protect, reduce fuel consumption, prolong oil change intervals, and enhance engine performance from startup till you switch off. Go to any Goil filling station and grab the new Goil Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Engineering innovation for your vehicle has arrived. Goil, good energy. Pay your school fees at Zenith Bank. It's stress-free. Students of UCC, UDS, University of Energy and Natural Resources, Tamale Technical University, Sunyani Technical University, Ho Technical University, Catholic University, and many others can visit any of our business locations nationwide for easy and prompt school fees payment. Or if you are a Zenith Bank customer, visit our website zenithbank.com.gh to pay your school fees via Zenith Global Pay. At Zenith Bank, school fees payment is fast and reliable. Zenith School Fees Payment, your stress-free solution to paying school fees. Zenith Bank, in your best interest. Banking begins our online review. Sacked Consolidated Bank staff to be engaged in alternative uses. The Employment Ministry has been telling us this on myjoyonline.com. It also says Mahama takes a swipe at Ekufado's nepotism and bloated government. You want to get the details of that. And BBC.com says Libya's Tripoli airport diverts flights after rocket attack. The BBC.com has all the details of that one. We'll take these important messages and then the BBC News at 7 follows. Stay with us.
This was Kwame's life before Interplast in Green.